I said that I was going to start talking about cliches. Pretty much why cliches are the death of writing, why we need to pretty much avoid them at all costs. There's a cliched line, avoid them like the plague. That's been done over and over. And trust me, after COVID, people don't avoid things like the plague. So there you go. Kind of like a little twist on a cliche there. That is what we're supposed to do with cliches. We're not supposed to just use them, pull them out like tools and use them. We're supposed to pull them out, inspect them, and say, this is not a good tool. It's not. Okay? It's dingy. It's rusty. We need to replace it. But if you don't have time or money to replace a tool, you can build one. You can use the tool that you have and then start mangling it or whatever so you can create something new here. I have to talk about this very strange parasocial, like psychosexual relationship writers have with readers first, before I can even talk about cliches, because I want to talk about why cliches even exist. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I will just speak from my personal experience about why cliches exist. Cliches exist because we want to please the reader too much. We want to make the reader understand too much. We want the reader to be happy too much. Guys, the reader cannot always be happy about what you write. That is just an absolute truth of life. Whatever you write, not everyone's going to love. But think about cliches in general. Think about what they are, okay? There's typically two kinds that I really want to hammer in, okay? There's the storytelling, and then there's also the kind of sentence cliches. What I mean by sentence cliches, that's like those sentences that we just groan and we've heard time and time again, okay? Stuff like avoid like the plague, okay? Believe it or not. Beggars can't be choosers, okay? We've heard those time and time again. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with those. People are not going to cry foul that much. Now, it's when you start overusing it. When literally every sentence of your story is stuff like, little did he know, in a world, stuff like that. People start crying foul there. Because I don't mind saying beggars can't be choosers every once in a while. Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there who are like that. And unfortunately need to hear it that way. But the bigger objection that people have is the storytelling cliches. Storytelling cliches like the dream. Turns out it was all just a dream. Oh, gag. Huge gag. Yeah, huge gag. There's another variation of this that I've seen where it's all in your head. This gets into another one, which is stereotyping. Stereotyping people with mental illness that everything's just in their head, that they're just going crazy. That's another one, stereotyping. Stereotypes. Absolutely cannot have that, but the all in your head one, okay? I especially see it in horror movies, horror stories all the time. Turns out all the monsters and paranormal stuff, it was just a crazy guy. It was all in their head. Like, come on, give me a break, okay? I am willing to accept that ghosts, goblins, and all that stuff are real. I am willing to accept that. Let's be real, it's 2023. The reason why we are so drawn to cliches is because they're easy. They're so easy. You don't have to stop and think about anything new. All you have to do is write your story like, in the beginning, little did John know. And you don't have to stop and think of anything new. It's great. Great. But here's the problem. There's no voice. No originality. No one's going to read that story. I'm sorry. Because we've seen it time and time and time again. So that's why whenever there's cliches involved, whenever you find yourself stumbling into any kind of cliche, doesn't matter if it's a storytelling one, doesn't matter if it's a sentence level one, I need you guys to trace your logic, okay? You need to trace your logic as to why am I trying to pull out these cliches, okay? How come my main character is exhibiting a stereotypical trait? Why? Why am I writing an environmentalist story where I am blaming all of humanity? That's a huge cliche. Why am I wanting to do that? Trace your logic as to why, so that you can really internalize it and then say to yourself, let's try to find a new angle here. I can tell you that even though, yes, it's a lot of hard work to try to pick apart these cliches and turn them on their head, trust me, tenfold results. Tenfold. People want new things, okay? But here's kind of the problem. Nothing is original. Nothing. Every story that has ever been told, every poem that has ever been written, probably has already been written. But that doesn't matter. What matters is your execution. Absolutely. So that's why a lot of readers gravitate towards stories or poems or any kind of creative fiction, creative writing that turns stereotypes and cliches on their head. Now, how exactly can we do that? It's easier said than done. But all I can really say is draw from your own experience. Draw from your own experience, stand up and say, look, this is my personal experience with this subject that I'm writing on. So how about instead of me writing a story in the perspective of a drug addict, how about the outsider? Where I don't know how to help someone, but I want to, but I don't understand what they're going through. That creates more drama. That creates more tension. So draw from your own experience. Try to see, okay, what's the new angle based on my life that I can add to this overall conversation about whatever subject or theme or whatever that I'm talking about here. That's one out of many ways we can try to break cliches.